You're about to watch a live stream from our Facebook group. It's a club where we pretty much just talk about board games all day long. Usually I'll live stream at least once a day, and everyone's invited. It's free, obviously. So if you're interested in coming to hang out with us, click the link in the description below. Hope to see you there. Okay, and I think we are live. Hello, club. I'm excited to be here. Got something in my throat. If you've been paying attention to the posts, I've been playing Terraforming Mars with my son. Getting really excited about it. And it reminded me of another game that I'm about to show you and how I organized it. And the reason why I thought about it was because if you know anything about Terraforming Mars, you have these player mats and you have cubes that show your resource production. And it's very easy to bang the table and your cubes kind of go flying and then you forget, did I have 5 plant production or 2 or whatever. So they sell these little boards to help organize it, but you're spending extra. And so I thought about how I had a similar problem with Eclipse and how I did a do-it-yourself kind of organization, and that's what I'm going to show you today because I do love me some organization. So in case you're not familiar with Eclipse, it's a very, very big box. It's heavy, and it's a space 4X game, which stands for Explore, Exterminate, Exploit, X something else. So someone will put it in the chat. I'll put a link to this in the chat. So if you want to check out the game, it's really going to bother me if I can't figure out that last X. Explore, exterminate, exploit. The last X always gets me. Anyway, usually they're space games, or sometimes they're land-based games like Civilization. So anyway, let me switch over to my box here so you can see what I got going on. Like I said, very big box, very big rule book, and this isn't going to be a review per se, but you know, we're talking in excess of 30-page rule book. And then this is where you buy your research from. So this doesn't particularly need any extra organization, but you do need a lot of area to play. Damn, this is starting to turn into an Eclipse review. I don't want to do that. I'll do that some other time. So here is the main problem with the boards. So here's your player board, and again, this is the size of some board games themselves. Like this is the size of an entire board. But in Eclipse, each player has to have this. So if you have, I think you could have 6 players. Yeah, 2 to 6. So I mean, you need a very big table to play this. But this suffers from this situation where, let me see if I could find some tokens. So I'll show you an example of how another thing I have to help organize this. So what I did was I bought these baseball card holders, and I have 2 different colors in here. So this is a yellow player and a white player. And so since it comes with 2, how I do it is the white player puts all their tokens in one and all their ships and stuff, and then in the lid, and then the other player, you know, keeps all theirs in theirs. So I would take all these and I would pop them in here. I don't want to go through it now. And then they each get a card, which shows that you passed, or it gives you a little summary of the action phase. So just to kind of show you, so that's one aspect of the organization. To show how these work here in terms of organization, I'll show you the problem with the sliding around. If I could just get this open. Probably should have done this first, but hey, we're doing it live. That's how we do it around here. So when you start Eclipse, all these numbers here, you see how it starts at 28 and goes all the way down to 2. I believe it's been a while since I played, but imagine that all of these were covered up with a little square, right? All the way down. And then what you do is as you, and these should all be covered with squares, right? Just imagine that. And then as you explore, if you take over a planet, if you colonize it, you take a cube off and you put it on there. And I don't have enough space to show you, but imagine there's a planet and you put the cube on it. And so now you produce 3 of this resource, or 3 science, or 4, whatever that is. It's been way too long since I played this. So anyway, as you colonize more planets, you produce more resources, which is cool. It's an interesting mechanic on how they track who owns what and also how much resources you produce. The problem is if you like knock into this, boom, like look, now all of these are on the pink. Meanwhile, they're supposed to be up here. So it's a big problem. It's a problem with terraforming Mars, and the people on Etsy and other places create these little player, I don't know what they're called, player board cases or mats or something. Um, and usually they're acrylic and they're see-through, and so everything has their own permanent spot. It doesn't move around at all. This like sits in a cutout, and so you can't move it, but you can take it out. Because I didn't want to spend all this money, because I knew I'd never really be able to play this because it's so big and takes so long to play, and usually I play at work. I just did a do-it-yourself version because it's fun. And so what I did was I bought this, I don't even know what it's called. I'll see if I could figure it out and post in the description. But I got this at either Michael's or Joann Fabric. It's like a sewing, I don't know what it's called, but it had like a little, even smaller grids than this all throughout. And what I did was I just measured it up, and then I did an X-Acto knife around the edge, and then I did X-Acto knife to cut out the middle grids I didn't need, and then created this thing. And so, you know, it doesn't line up perfectly. You can see if I line it up perfectly on the right, then it's a little jacked up on the left, but so, you know, but it's good enough. And so you can put your tokens in here and everything fits, and if the whole thing does shift somehow, like if I were to bump into it and it goes like that, well, you know, it's pretty easy to just kind of put it back where it belongs. So do-it-yourself organization, this is probably the most useful thing. This is probably not necessary and not as useful, but this is a huge useful thing. So I have a bunch of these, and I use them for so many different games because it is extremely annoying. There's a lot of chits, a lot of tokens that come along with this game, and any game like that, you got to get one of these Wargamer trays. And the cool thing about this, let me get rid of this for a second, is you could take it off, right, and then this goes underneath, so it's not just hanging out. And then you're ready to play. You don't have to separate them. You don't have to organize them. You're ready to go. And then as you pull things out of research or whatever, you just put them right on here. Wherever they go, good to go. So this is a huge help for trying to get the game going fast. And then when you're done, everyone puts it away. And there you go. Instant cleanup. So I think that's about it. They make cool player mats too for Eclipse, but that isn't really an organizational thing. So these are the main things. I like this little tray. I'll see if I can find a link for where I got these. I bought like 20 of these because I love them. I have them. I'm trying to think where I use it. I used to use it in Agricola until I got the new edition. I use it in Twilight Struggle because you really need it for that. It's a ton of like little chits. This and maybe a few others that I can't think of, but love these. They're really cheap. They're like maybe $2 each, even cheaper if you get them in bulk. But that's about it. Again, I will put a link to Eclipse in the comments. I will try to find if I can figure out where I got some of this stuff. A lot of times these kind of things they disappear and you need to find a new version or something like that. So if you guys have any more organizational tips for Eclipse, drop it in the comments. And if you happen to be watching this over YouTube or somewhere else, there should be a link to the Facebook group. Come join us, come chat, because that's what it's all about, guys. All right, thanks for watching.